Perfect. Welcome, everyone. Master your emotion and find your truth, and also live with your own truth. So today is the number 44. That's an amazing number, 444. Oh, did I say three times? No, two times. Or maybe that's another different dimension. Yeah, the higher version of me. Yeah, it's a 444. But I would like to only give, like always, the angelic number. So the 44. Double four, I would like to say. That's a foundation number, is number four, but it's only giving you that energy of the divine protections, giving you that energy of the inner wisdom, trust, self-love. So that's a beautiful number, but I'm not going to give you much more than just only description of this number. If you would like to learn more about the angelic number, you can go and research the knowledge information by your own. So I'm going to leave you with that because I couldn't wait to introduce the beautiful soul today who is with me today. I was waiting. I would like to say I was waiting and also asked the universe, send it me. So yes, here we go. I've invited that beautiful Debbie Solaris. Welcome warmly. And let me just only give the audience a little bit description about you, and then I can give you the time to, you can introduce yourself. So what I just only found on your website, I just only found it as an ET Contactee, Ascension coach, and Galactic historian. So that's the beautiful, wow, probably is a much more, is a much more. Would you like to introduce yourself and just only say something briefly, what is really important to know about you? Welcome.
That's great. Thank you for having me on your show, and I'm honored to be here. But first of all, I'm Debbie Solaris. I'm kind of a relative newcomer to spirituality, so I've only been doing this for probably about 12 years. I know there's a lot of other healers out there that have been doing this for like 30, 40 years. That's not me, but I was on the spiritual fast track ever since my awakening. My awakening obviously was activated by having extraterrestrial contact. So I had this experience twice. So that's probably my primary title is ET contactee, but I'm also a Galactic Akashic Records guide. I spent the last 10 years doing thousands of Akashic records. A lot of us on this planet right now are not originally from Earth. We're from other star systems. And so a lot of us come here and we've forgotten, who we are. We've forgotten our missions here. So my role is to help people remember. And then I'm also a starseed intuitive. So I like to help people navigate kind of the ins and outs of this reality that we're in here on this planet, this third dimensional reality, how we can reach the higher dimensions and still, have our day-to-day lives here. And yet the other thing that I think I would say that I'm probably best known for is being a galactic historian. I somehow was able to access a lot of information about different star systems, their history, how it impacts planet Earth. And so I ended up, being known, I would say mostly for that title. But I do, like you said, I do a number of different things. So I appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's why I said there's lots of different things. We are not, we shouldn't label ourselves just only one style because you never know what is the future holds for us. Tomorrow that will be something, oh, I wasn't prepared myself. Actually,
Yeah, totally.
we prepared ourselves, but anyway, we're going to say like that. I would like to focus today, if you don't mind, of course, to talk a little bit more about the Akashic Records, because that's like you just only say, but much more deeply. So what is the Akashic Records? Because when I've got a session with somebody and when I'm just only telling them that's come from your Akashic Records, they are saying, what is it? Yeah, would you mind just only say a little bit for my audience?
Yeah, I'd love to give a little description. So the Akashic records are the energetic records of the universe. So there's always a need for some sort of record keeping, throughout multiple dimensions. And every person, every being, even animals and plants also have Akashic records. A lot of people are surprised to hear that. It's not just Earth humans. There's a multitude of beings throughout our universe that have Akashic records. And these records are accessed by being able to connect with the higher realms. And I always say that everybody can read the Akashic records. It's not just limited to people like myself. Anybody can access the records. Anybody can download information. And this is kind of like a tally of our Earth's journey, or I'm sorry, our soul's journey, our journey through a multitude of lifetimes. So it's not just a past life regression. So a lot of people think, oh, you know, Akashic records reading, you're just going to tell me about my past lives. It's not that at all. That's a part of it, but it also encompasses your present life and also future probabilities, you know, so it also looks into the future. So it's kind of like a 180-degree or even maybe a 360-degree view of your soul's journey and what you're here to do. A lot of people that I've done readings for have told me that these readings are life-changing. Because you have access to, I would say, deeper level information through the Akashic records, you can use that information to navigate your life, you know, take what you've experienced in the past or maybe what you're moving towards in the future and integrate that into your life today. And I've seen some amazing transformations with people, you know, just through accessing this information. So, so now my focus in my practice is to help others to learn to do this, not to access just the Earth lives, but also lifetimes even beyond this planet. So that's my, I guess, description of the Akashic records. And it's kind of like some people think of it as a library, but I think of it more as just an alternate realm. The way I see it, it's kind of like this crystalline kind of space where you can just grab, like I call them Akashic crystals, but it's just my way of describing it. But you can access somebody's crystal and then see what their life, you know, or what their lifetimes and who they are. So it's a very powerful tool. I feel honored to be able to work in this realm. Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing, because how I can, let's go say it this way. 2 years ago, I saw the Akashic record, like you said, like a library, like an entrance, and you can go or just only flip the pages. But now I'm just only walking in the Akashic records. The Akashic records is in front of me, behind me, above me, inside me. I just only like I could say, and now that's beautifully said. That's a crystal, so I can grab it and you can read it, and I can apply it. That changes my life.
Absolutely. It's that's what I mean about how everybody can access the records. I mean, it's all of us. A lot of us just have forgotten, you know, how to have that ability. A lot of people have forgotten that, and I'm of the belief that we're all psychic, that we all have intuitive abilities, but we've just forgotten because it's been programmed out of us, you know, in this, you know, reality. So. But all of us can have access to the records. So we can even get information, not just on really profound questions, but even day-to-day stuff. You know, you can ask like, hey, should I purchase this house, or should I go on this trip? You know, you can get a replay of what you know, some decisions that maybe need to be made. So it's useful in many different realms.
Yeah, that's true. But also, just something came to me now. It's like a deja vu. I would like to say it's like Akashic records for me. Sometimes it's like which you've got to replay all the time, and then we're going to change it something in our life every time when you've got a deja vu at that moment. Oh, aha, that was happened. Or just only glitches in the matrix. So
and you can access alternate dimensional lifetimes too. It's not just a linear process. I think a lot of us tend to think of it kind of a linear, but I like to see it at a multifaceted level. Like, you know, okay, it's like, for instance, I do a lot of Akashic clearings, and Akashic clearings just enable us to reset our records. So it's not necessarily changing the records, but maybe setting some new intentions within the records. And so a lot of times when I'm doing an Akashic clearing, I'm having to access this person's, if I'm working with a client, this person's alternate lifetime. So it might be in alternate dimensions, not necessarily maybe a past life, but maybe an alternate dimensional life that they're having simultaneous to this one. And this happens quite a bit. I think I'm of the belief that when we dream, we're actually visiting these alternate dimensional lifetimes that we're, having simultaneous to this one. And so maybe there's some healing that's needed in a particular alternate lifetime, or there's a timeline that needs to be repaired. And so you're able to navigate with your client how to do that. And mostly it's their higher self that's doing the work. So I'm just kind of the facilitator of the process, just as probably you are when you're working with folks. But it's their higher self that's actually doing a lot of the healing for them. It's just bringing it to their consciousness. So it is a beautiful process, and I love the way you described it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that stuff. I love, because we are not aware of that. We are just only being created another version of ourselves in the, I'm calling the parallel universes, but alternative dimension is as well as perfect. Perfect description. So I remember when somebody told me, I saw you somewhere with the 2 kids. I said, no, I don't have 2 tiny small kids. I've got a grown-up kid. And they said, no, is that not, no. I said, okay, fine. That was me, because they told me just only they saw another version of me, exactly the same how I looks like now. So I've got so many people around. Anyway, so that's why, I totally agree with everyone, with you, but everyone who is watching us, that's also is like a possibility and ability to heal and clear that baggage which one we created in the different dimension as well for ourselves, and that stuff holding us back from having the full potential. Oh my God, that's so fast. That's so deep.
No, it's amazing. I've seen amazing transformations as well through Akashic clearings. This is not a plug for an upcoming course, but I am currently developing a course in Akashic clearings. I consider it kind of like an advanced Akashic training. So we're going to be working on that this summer, my team and I, and hopefully we'll be able to offer it in the fall. That's my goal anyway. But it goes more into the ins and outs of different soul programs and working with your chakras. I work with more than just the 7 chakras. I like to work with the out-of-body chakras, which are the chakras 8 through 12. Because that actually has more of an impact on how to navigate and work through maybe doing some shadow work than perhaps even the 7 chakras. So a lot of people are just real focused on the 7 because those are the physical chakras, but the chakras are actually all in common. There's probably even more than 12, but in our current reality, that's the chakras that are in our auric field. So I do work with quite a bit. I do a lot of chakra work. I also work a lot with soul programs and different probabilities, master programs, that sort of thing. So these are all components that we can all work with to either assist our clients or even assist ourselves in being able to reach our full potential, not being stuck in the 3D quagmire of karma and missed opportunities, or being in a wrong timeline, or any of those factors that might be playing a part in holding a person back.
But is it possible to be on the wrong timeline?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it in a few folks. It usually, you can tell if you're on the wrong timeline if it seems like you're constantly missing opportunities, or it's like you're always early to things or always late to things, or it seems like you're just not in sync, with your life, like it just seems like you're just out of sync constantly. And so there might be some healing that's needed, for that, particular, space that and time that you're in. And a lot of times you can do this through Akashic clearings, but you don't necessarily have to have an Akashic clearing. People can do shadow work and repair this, or also do a QHHT session. I don't know if you're familiar with QHHT, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you are. But
I had it.
yeah, QHHT, that's pretty intense, but that can also help repair the timelines as well.
Oh, that's amazing, because so many people sometimes just only saying, "Oh my goodness, I'm on the wrong time, I've made the wrong decision," or just only nothing is happening for me, and nothing is happening for me. That's good. That's good to say, but it's nothing happening. Everything is happened to me. That's the worst. I would like to say in this way. Because we are talking about the Akashic records, but we are talking Akashic records like a human being on the planet Earth. But how does that connect with the Akashic records from the different galactic around the starseeds?
That's a good question. Let me think about that. I would say, as far as a lot of people talk about extraterrestrials like they're some alien, like they're outside of us, and I hate that, because they're actually us. They're actually our star, not just our star families. They're different alternate dimensional aspects of ourselves. And so when we're accessing the Galactic Akashic Records, we are actually accessing records that we're connected to, maybe through our star lineage. Maybe our star lineage is very connected to certain star systems, and there was historical events that happened that might have impacted our soul's development. So we're all, I would say, products of our environment sometimes. Obviously we're free will beings. We have the opportunity to make decisions, to navigate our own lives, but sometimes outside environmental events might impact us. And so accessing these records, that are located for different star systems, gives us a glimpse into, okay, what impacted me that might be affecting me today. I mean, since I'm just speaking in the terms that, oh yes, I'm a starseed. And I would say the majority of us in this reality here on Earth right now are starseeds. I would say there's probably some younger souls that might have only had lifetimes on Earth. Those are not usually the people that come to me for readings. I think people that come to me for readings are starseeds, but or they come from some alternate dimensional realm, but there's also, I think, trends that occur due to certain star lineages. Just to give you an example, a lot of people on the planet now have Lyra or Vegan lineage. So this is a star system, the Lyra constellation. This is where humanity began in our galaxy. So a lot of us here on Earth have connections with Lyra. And there was a lot of trauma that happened in Lyra. They had a big, humongous war. I mean, their whole system, or I wouldn't say the whole system, but quite a few of their planets got destroyed during a humongous war with the draconian beings. And so this has had a direct impact on a lot of us. So some people might, start off being healthy here on Earth, and then they go through a very stressful event in their life, and then all of a sudden they're developing fibromyalgia, or they're getting an autoimmune condition, and they don't know. They go to the doctor can't figure out what's wrong with them. You've got, I think a lot of us have experienced this, and I know I have. Because I had past lives in Lyra and experienced that traumatic event. And so when we're going through this, we're also, we're thinking, what's causing this? Why can't I get a handle on my health? And then when we explore our past lives and we discover, oh, I'm a starseed and I had a lifetime in Lyra and I went through the wars, and maybe I got killed, maybe I got badly injured, maybe I lost my whole family during the wars, then it starts making sense. I have these trauma signatures that are in my soul DNA. Now, it's not just our physical bodies that have DNA, it's also our soul also has DNA. I call it DNA markers, they're soul DNA markers, so they're markers that might get activated if we go through something that seems like a similar experience. So it's up to us, and I think karmically we might be choosing these experiences maybe on a higher dimensional level in order to replay them. So it's not that we're being punished. It's more that I'm choosing as a soul to replay this event in this current lifetime so that I have an opportunity to do something different or to choose to do a different outcome. I don't know if that makes sense, but a lot of us that do shadow work, or work with clients, understand that, okay, sometimes we have to replay certain events in our lifetimes. So none of us are victims, we're all choosing, to have these experiences. Maybe our higher self, maybe this was an agreement we had before our incarnation here. So, but these trauma signatures do get activated. And then there's also certain personality traits. Like I notice with people with Pleiadian connections that a lot of them are very empathic. They maybe end up in relationships with narcissists because they're so empathic. And so they have to go through that whole experience. So it can be applied in many different directions, maybe even career choices. People that are Andromedan, backgrounds might choose to be energy healers, for instance. So there's that as well. I hope I didn't go too much with the question. But
that's
it's just
good.
so many layers to it that I'm trying to keep it as succinct as possible, but I hope it helps.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because when you touch the one, I just like, oh, the other is opening. Oh, that's, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's like you can drop the stone in the water and that all the waves is coming and coming and coming. Anyway, because now I'm going back deep in, and now let's go keep it up. It's very simple.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, we can go down many, many rabbit holes with this topic, but I'm trying to keep it as short as possible. And for the sake of the time that we have together, and also people can also do more research, if they're interested in this, for sure.
Oh, definitely. I recommend everyone who is watching us, just when you go and search, and just when you go and find where you come from, where's your starseed lineage, because that is crucial. That's so crucial, because everything will be unraveling. And I like, excuse me, I like what you said about the soul DNA and the body DNA. That gave me also lots of things, like I just only giving you that. Even the body got the DNA, the traumatic event is only coded everything, all the experience from this lifetime. And the soul, wow, is bringing, and just the lesson, how I can see, of course, it's like the lesson which one's supposed to be learned, or just only finished, or the contract was supposed to be finished in the past life, wasn't that finished. And then they're just only bringing over to this lifetime. So that's how I can see. And that's how we can. Sorry, I just only saw the orb behind me. Every time I'm seeing the orbs behind me, I'm so fascinating.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. They distracted me.
No, I see them too. So it's just, you have a lot of guides and family that's joining you today. So
all the time.
Yeah, I think the thing that the question I get the most from people is, how do I know what star system I'm from or what I'm connected with? And of course, you can go and get a reading. I mean, that's available. Maybe not with me, because I'm not doing personal readings at this time, but you can go get a reading. But I think for a lot of people, it's more of a personal journey, and that's probably the best way to really connect with your star lineage is really doing the meditation work. Working with yourself to see what is it that you resonate when you hear the word, Andromeda. Does it resonate? Does it? I apologize. I'm sorry for that. Sorry about that. I'm getting a scam call here. Sorry. You can cut this out. But, for people that maybe don't know or haven't connected with it, and I know for me, it took me a long time. I mean, I didn't know, what I was connected with. And honestly, for a lot of us, we're connected with quite a few star systems. It's not just one or two. I mean, I think that's probably shocking to most people, because people want to have that one identity, like, oh, I'm Pleiadian, or oh, I'm from Orion, or something like that. But to be quite honest, we're all infinite souls, and we all have had a multitude of different lifetimes and different incarnations. And it wasn't just in one or two systems, it was actually in quite a few. A lot of times when I'm doing an Akashic reading or an Akashic clearing, I do tend to focus on the star systems that are impacting that person right now the most, or the ones that they have to learn from, or maybe they've had the most lifetimes in. So just to keep it, because otherwise I could spend 5 hours on somebody's reading, but just to keep it, make the best use of our time, I guess, I do focus on certain star systems. But for a lot of us, we do come from a multitude of different systems, and they may not even be what I call the big six or the big seven. They're, the star systems that most people know about. They might be even some minor star systems that, such as Apollonia or Pavilla or Tau Ceti or Alpha Centauri, so those are systems that a lot of people don't know much about, but maybe have had an impact on us as well. So yeah, I would say doing the work, and maybe even accessing your own records, is the best way to figure out how to figure out what you're connected with as far as maybe a star lineage. Vast majority of people here on Earth right now are probably connected mostly with Lyra and Vega, because that's the home of human consciousness, and we're all going through this human experience. But a lot of us are also very connected with Sirius, with the Pleiades, Andromeda, Arcturus. So those are the systems I see mostly pop up over and over again. But there's also quite a few other star systems. And Orion too. I get quite a few Orion clients. Yeah. So Orion's an interesting system. A lot of duality consciousness lessons from Orion, but and that we're all still playing out here on Earth. But yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap it up here. So.
Yeah, so that's what. Yeah, that's people need to go and do any research by themselves. Yeah. Because if they are ready to research, if they're ready to hear that knowledge and information, they will know what they have to do. They will be guided. Even unconsciously, they will know where they're supposed to go and who need to contact with. But how about the Starseeds? What is the mission of the Starseeds? Because we didn't touch this question. That's a really important question. We are talking about the different lineage, but what is the mission of us, of our Starseeds?
That's a really great question. I think it's a question that a lot of us have. Like, why am I here? What am I doing here? What's the purpose of this? Because this is kind of a chaotic reality. We're in this third dimensional realm, and for a lot of us that originated from alternate dimensions or higher dimensions, it seems very chaotic. I mean, it just doesn't seem like sometimes it makes sense. And I would say for a lot of us, I am a big fan of Dolores Cannon. I love Dolores Cannon. She was my predecessor. I kind of consider her like my star sister, or maybe she had a similar mission. But she wrote a book called The Three Waves of Volunteers in New Earth, that was, I would say, published a few years ago, that I think most succinctly describes what our missions are here. And a lot of it's very generational. So depending on which generation you were born into, and these are generations that came in after World War II. So for instance, a lot of us came here to help Earth. I would say the overall mission. This is for all of us, regardless of what generation we were born into. A lot of us came here to help this planet shift its consciousness to a higher consciousness. And it's also to help us to ascend into a higher dimension. So right now, Earth is actually probably mostly in fourth dimension. That's why we see a lot of weird glitches with Mandela effects. And it seems like, we see these like timeline glitches quite a bit because we are moving beyond third, but a lot of it, Earth people are still stuck in third, so a lot of us starseeds have come here to help, expand consciousness, here on this planet, help hold space for these higher dimensions. So I get quite a few starseeds that are just here to be conduits, they're here to hold that higher vibrational space. And I get others that maybe are truth tellers. They're here to maybe share information. I'm in a way kind of a truth teller. I mean, it's I think sometimes I get a lot of pushback from people because I talk about things that people have forgotten or don't want to know about. But I would say overall, we're here to help Earth ascend to the fifth dimension. That is, ultimately our goal. As far as the generational goals, I would say first wavers. I'm a first waver. I was born in the 60s. So first wavers are people that were born, I would say, between 1947 and, just to give kind of a roundabout, timeline here, in the mid 60s. I would say that generation are what Dolores Cannon called first wavers. So these are people that were laying down the foundation for the spiritual movement. They were healers and teachers, and they were spiritual guides. So these are not people that were earth movers or shakers. These are people that were just kind of like coming in more of a gentler soul. They call them blue rays, but the people that were born after that, which is the second wavers, these are people born in the 70s and the 80s. Just using that as a general guideline. These are people that are the system busters. So they're breaking down the old system. Maybe they're not all activists, but they're breaking down the system in some way. This is gross generalization, but this is just what I'm, but generally that's what they're, so these are people that were asking questions, the indigo children. They were asking questions. They were more rebellious. They were rebelling against the system. Most of the kids that were born in the 1990s are not really kids anymore, some of them, but 1990s and beyond. So these are the people, the younger generation. These are the system builders. So these are the people with the technical abilities, the frequency navigators, so they're the ones that are going to be building new Earth. A lot of our younger starseeds fall in this category. I call them the rainbow children because all their chakras are all aligned. But a lot of these kids are coming in, and they're the ones that are going to be building the new Earth. And it's going to be the same Earth, but it's just an alternate dimension. So a lot of people think, oh, we're going to move to another planet. It's like, no, we're not going to move to another planet. It's going to be the same planet. But you're going to see, and I think a lot of people are already, people that are on the spiritual path are already noticing shifts and changes in our reality. Even though sometimes when you look at, say the local news or, the worldwide news, seems like things are going to hell in a handbasket, but actually we are shifting into higher realms, so there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, that's definitely, when you describe it, that's indigo and rainbow and the wave showers and the shakers, like you said. So I'm a definitely second wave. So definitely, and my children, they are rainbow children. They've got a lot of psychic ability. They don't have to even think. They really know, and they really know where they're going. And they know the future. So my daughter told me, oh, I'm going to do this in the future. I said, okay. So I'm just only, that's
they're actually higher, coming in and with even higher frequencies. That's I love the kids because you don't have to explain things to them. They know. I mean, they just know. I mean, that's great. I love doing readings for third wavers because it's like I don't have to spend a lot of time with healing them. It's like they already know. They they've already figured it out. They have a lot of times they come to me for readings, maybe more for validation or confirmation, but they already know, you know, like your kids, you know. So and your mission too is important because we had to have that generation that was starting to ask questions. They were starting to say, you know what, we're not putting up with this anymore. We're going to create some new systems, you know. So you know, so without the second waivers, you know, the first waivers didn't have anybody to give the baton to, and then you know, you know, so it kind of works, you know, in all facets. So I would say all generations are equally important.
Yeah, that's right. We are just only blending and we're just supporting each other. We need to have a great foundation. Without a great foundation, a really healthy foundation, yeah, we couldn't go forward. That's definitely like that. But I would like to just only say that lots of people, I just only would like to share with the audience as well, my story around when I had my event, spiritual event, and I was sitting behind the table, and the one girl I attract the one girl, maybe she was 7, 8 years old, and she came to me and she sat down straight away. I knew her from the previous one, but she in that event she came to me and she only sat down in front of me, and she will start talking about, I see this, I see that, I see that, Starseed. I was like mind blowing. I said, why are you sharing this with me? And she said, because you know. I said, okay, just keep carry on. I was just only, that was like a spontaneous, like we'll be know each other, or I don't know. That was amazing. That was amazing how they opened.
Wow, that must have been quite an experience. Maybe you two had a contract or you knew each other from a previous lifetime, or, you know, it's like, oh, you know, sometimes we see souls and we recognize them. Like maybe we never met them before in this lifetime, but you just see this soul and you have this recognition like, oh, you know, maybe I did work with this person, you know. So but yeah, what an amazing experience. And a lot of us I think have, you know, similar experiences where we all have soul contracts with different, you know, souls, and maybe that person's role is to activate you in some way, even if, you know, they're not in your life permanently, but they might be in your life temporarily just to activate you to go in a certain direction, or maybe to have a certain activation with your own personal mission, you know. So obviously that young girl had an impact on you. So
she had. She had it was like a huge one. I was just only staring at her, and she was talking, and she was talking, and she was talking much more deeper, also around the shadow world and seeing kind of the ghost in her life. Anyway, and she asked me for the support, and then anyway, that was much profound. And I told her, I'm going to support you. Don't worry, I'm going to help you with that. Anyway, would you? Yeah, she was like, I'm going to see her probably in the next event because I'm on a regular basis in that place. So, well, that would be so
very
nice.
good. Yeah, I hope you can do further work with her. Anyway, you had another question, so go ahead.
Yeah, because I would like to, I don't want to keep you so long because I know the audience will be triggered or just when we planted the seeds. The three things, like I just only, if you would like to describe, because you just, that will be continue from the previous your question, no question, answer about the soul contract and soulmates and karmic partner. If you would like to just only give that tiny description, what is it?
Oh, great. Yeah, that's one of my favorite topics is soul contracts, because I work with it so much with the Akashic clearings. But yeah, there's different types of contracts. So so not everybody in our life we have an easy time with, you know. So I think sometimes we might have had contracts with family members. Just as an overall, I would say, description, there are certain soul contracts. I would say the one that I think is the easiest contract is the soulmate contract. So the soulmates are people that we've had past lives with, that are, and it's not, doesn't necessarily always mean romantic connections, but usually it is, that we have a contract with, that person basically is here to help us with our mission, you know. So we support each other with our missions, and it's an easier contract, you know. It's like I consider my husband to be a soulmate, not a twin flame. That's a whole other thing. Um, but I mean, not that we didn't have hard times together and we didn't have challenges in our relationship, but for the most part, we've always supported each other. And he supports my mission. Now, the twin flame contract, that one is interesting because a lot of people put it in kind of a romantic context, and it's not always romantic. I've known of twin flames that might be brother and sister, or twin flames that might be grandmother and grandson. I mean, it's usually the other alternate part of our soul, or an alternate soul shard of ourself, that is kind of a mirror for us. So when they come into our lives, they are providing a mirror of things that maybe we need to work on. And sometimes they can be very triggering or very activating, usually triggering, but and it doesn't always end up in, oh yeah, I'm with my twin flame forever and we're going to have this happy life together. A lot of times twin flames kind of come in and out of our lives. You know, it's sometimes they might be married to somebody else and you might be married to somebody else. But you come together in a certain time to activate, you know, each other. And so they're kind of holding the mirror for yourself. And you know, people talk about the runner, you know, chaser. I don't know about all that. I think a lot of times that's kind of toxic attributes that people put on the twin flame, you know, contract, but it's not meant to be like that. It's meant to be more of an activation. And then there's the karmic partnership. This one is interesting because it doesn't always play out very positively, as we know in our so for just to give an example, you might have a parent that you're constantly in conflict with, and it might be a karmic partnership. So maybe your parent is a soul that in the higher realms really loves you, but they might have chosen to play a really dark role in your life. Maybe they're here to help you learn certain lessons, but they love you so much, they're willing to play the bad guy in your incarnation in order to help you learn these lessons. And a lot of people have a hard time with this concept because it's like, why would I choose that? Why would I choose to go through all these hard lessons with this individual? But in actuality, none of us are victims. We've all chosen certain, you know, certain experiences. And so we might choose to have that karmic partnership, and usually they play out. So it's not like ongoing, you know, usually it's the contract ends after after you learn the lesson, or after like maybe that parent passes away, or maybe that person moves out of your life, you know, once the contract is finished. So those are, I would say, the three major ones. There's also walk-in contracts. That's a whole other realm. I'm not going to go down that path because that's a whole other conversation. But a lot of people ask about walk-ins. A lot of people believe they're walk-ins. Walk-ins are not as common as people think, but there are those contracts as well. So those are just some basic descriptions.
Yeah, thank you. I know the walk-in as like a crazy. Yeah, I know. I remember when I read the books in the Solaris canon book, I was like, what's going on? The walk-in. So that's why. Oh, that's why. Oh, anyway, that connected lots of dots for me. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, I was totally. Like,
yeah. Why I just only woke up, but I couldn't remember that stuff. Oh, maybe that, or something is new. Oh, anyway, carry on.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a whole other conversation. And I could probably do a course just on walk-in.
Oh, please do.
Walk-in contracts. Yeah, I'd probably have to develop that as or a webinar or something on that. But yeah, it's an interesting phenomena, and it's usually when a soul chooses to leave a body, but it doesn't go through the process called death, and then another soul walks in. That's usually what I see with walk-ins. And usually the soul that walks in, like during the lifetime that you know takes over from the soul that leaves, is a higher dimensional soul, and it's usually Arcturian or Andromedan souls that choose to be walk-ins, but not always. I mean, sometimes it could even be alternate dimensional or some alternate universe or something. But it's a very, very interesting contract. It's one that I think deserves to have more conversation around it.
Yeah, that's definitely. I would like to have a podcast with you next time if you would like to be happy to accept
Oh
my
yeah,
invitation for the next one. Because the walk in is like, oh my goodness, that's so many layers on it. That's definitely like
there's
that.
layers and layers of and usually the walk-in soul comes in for a certain purpose. You know, it's kind of like, you know, they're not just alleviating the exiting soul, but they're also coming in for a certain purpose. So it's definitely one that's worth looking into.
Yeah, that's so many stuff. Oh, thank you so much. I don't want to keep you longer. It's completely enough for my audience to just only grasp that information, knowledge, and also I'll be referring them straight away to your website to search for more information. But before I'm going to wrap up, I would like to ask you, like always, I'm asking everyone, what helped you a lot, or any kind of the affirmation, any kind of the song, when you just only went through the challenging time in your life?
I've gone through the dark side of the dark night of the soul, just like a lot of us have. I think it was just a connection with my higher self and higher guidance that, you know, kept encouraging me to keep at it. You know, not to look at beyond just the you know, the current life experiences, like, you know, all the challenges I went through. I went through a lot of health challenges, you know, personally, but that there was but that there was another side of it that was going to be you know, rewarding, and it was going to have an impact on so many lives, you know. And I think this is true of all of us, not just of myself, but it was just keeping that connection with my star family and my guides, I think, was what helped me navigate through even the hard times. But thank you for asking that. That is very important. And I think
it is.
Yeah, very much so. And, you know, if people want to explore what I do, they can go to my website. I'm sure you'll have a link to it, but it's debbiesolaris.com, DEBBIESOLARIS.com. I am offering a course in Galactic Akashic reading in April. We're going to start registration for the course next month in March. And it's an amazing course, 8 weeks long. You know, just if you're interested in exploring this type of work and maybe integrating it into your own practice, I would highly encourage you to check out my website.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. That was so, oh my God, I couldn't find a word describing this conversation. That was really informative and that was so amazing. Yeah, a lot of knowledge and information for everyone. Thank you.